Imagine this. You wake up one morning, you grab your phone, and nothing works. Your entire digital world has just vanished. Well, for millions of people, that's pretty much exactly what happened on October 20th, 2025. And this wasn't just, one app being glitchy or a website being down. Nope. This was a massive, cascading failure that just rippled across the entire globe, taking out everything from your favorite game to your online bank. And the sheer variety of what went down is what's truly mind-boggling. I mean, this wasn't just about social media. It hit the financial sector, design tools, and yeah, even your smart doorbell. It was like a digital domino effect that just knocked over almost every corner of our online lives. So the big question is, how? How did one single problem manage to knock out such a wildly diverse range of critical services, all at the exact same time? The scope was just immense. I mean, this outage paralyzed everything. Entertainment, financial transactions, it even hit government services. Think about it. The UK's tax authority and their national rail system were offline. It's a really stark reminder of just how interconnected and, frankly, dependent our digital world has become. So, while millions of us were just left in the dark, companies like Canva could really only confirm one thing. They were victims of a much, much larger issue. They, and hundreds of other companies, all pointed the finger at their cloud provider. They were essentially admitting, hey, this is completely out of our hands. And that provider? Well, it's the giant in the room, Amazon Web Services, or AWS. And that led investigators to one very specific, very critical spot on the map. Okay, so this isn't just any old data center. US East 1 is Amazon's original and its largest cloud region. Because of its age and its sheer size and capacity, it's become a critical hub for the entire global internet. But, well, that also means when it has a bad day, the whole internet feels it. And AWS isn't just some technical backbone. It's an absolute financial powerhouse. It is so ridiculously lucrative that it makes up 17% of Amazon's total revenue. We're talking over $100 billion in 2024 alone. That just shows you how central this one service has become, not just to the internet, but to one of the biggest companies on the planet. All right, so what exactly went wrong inside this massively important internet hub? The problem, it turns out, came down to a system that we all use literally every second we're online, even if we have no idea it exists. It's called the Domain Name System, or DNS. The easiest way to think of it is as the internet's phone book. It's a really simple but absolutely crucial process. You ask for a name, like canva.com, and DNS provides the numerical IP address so your computer knows exactly which server to go find. Without that step, you're basically just shouting names into the void. So what does this all mean for the outage? Well, according to Amazon, the whole thing was caused by an underlying DNS issue. In other words, computers all over the world suddenly couldn't find the addresses for essential services. The phone book was broken, and a huge chunk of the internet just became unreachable. So now that we kind of know the why, let's zoom back out and really look at the true scale of the fallout from this one single technical failure. According to the outage tracker Down Detector, more than 1,000 companies reported that their services were directly hit. So yeah, this was not some minor glitch. It was a full-blown systemic shock. But the impact on regular users like you and me? Even more staggering. Over 6.5 million individual outage reports came flooding in from all around the world as people realized their apps, their games, their work tools had all gone silent at once. And just to put that into perspective, users in the UK alone filed more than 800,000 reports. That is more than 5 times the number you'd see on an average weekday. It just shows you how suddenly and how dramatically this single failure was felt by everyone. This quote from the digital rights group Article 19 really highlights a deeper concern. It wasn't just games and social media. Secure communication apps like Signal also went dark, and that silenced vital tools used by journalists, activists, and citizens all over the world. Suddenly, a failure of infrastructure becomes a failure of communication. And this brings us to probably the biggest takeaway from this whole mess. What does an outage like this really tell us about the world that we've built online? This event basically became a textbook example of the danger of putting all of our digital eggs in one basket. The incredible convenience of having a single, massive provider like AWS, well, it also creates a massive single point of failure. And look, this isn't an isolated incident. Not at all. It's part of a growing trend. From that CrowdStrike software update that bricked computers globally back in 2024, to Facebook's little configuration error that took its entire family of apps offline in 2021, we keep seeing how one mistake at one company can have these huge cascading consequences for everybody else. Which really leaves us with a final and pretty crucial question to think about. We have built our entire modern society on this centralized cloud infrastructure, but just how resilient is it really? And if this is what a single glitch can do, what happens when something really breaks?